This is Coach Frank, sports and health fans, with a special episode of the Sporting Good Posture podcast. Now, before I kick off this episode and help you crush this coming year, I have a few questions for you. Are you crushing your wellness, fitness, and health goals? Are you in the shape or the state of health you want to be? Do you have lots of room for improvement? Are there things going on with you physically you'd like to change? Could your overall state of well-being be better than it is? If you answered yes to any of these, this is your lucky day, and this is the episode for you, because I'm going to tell you what underlies all physical well-being and dictates what condition you'll be in, be it weight, fat, dexterity, ability, range of motion, pain or discomfort, fitness, or an overall sense of health. This one factor is the make or break of your wellness game, no matter what game it is you play. So amateur to pro, weekend warrior to everyday hero, no matter what your personal jam is, none of it will change for the better unless you know this one thing. And I'll tell you all about it and how to use it to up your game right after this. Stick around.
Game on, sports, fitness, and health fans, with another episode of the Sporting Good Posture digital radio experience. Gear up for Coach Frank's advice from the sidelines as he helps you crush your game, no matter what sports, health, or fitness game you play.
Hey, this is Coach Frank. I'm Sporting Good Posture. What are you sporting?
Hey, Coach, what do you got for us today?
Welcome back to another episode of Sporting Good Posture. Coach Frank here with you, and I have a good, short, but power-packed show just for you today. It's going to help you step up your game like never before. You know, when I played football, we were playing a pretty complex game. If you look at the overall sport, there are a lot of players, positions, rules, and strategies, and it can all look pretty complicated and overwhelming. So Coach emphasized one thing with us during practice: fundamentals. Coach would run us on drills until we couldn't take it anymore, pushing us past our limits, and when we had our fill and we were ready to give up, he ran them some more. He made champions out of us, and I can't really credit anything except the fundamentals. Well, your overall condition, your health, your wellness, fitness, posture, is really most influenced by fundamentals of body function. And let's just admit this right now. The body and the amount of trouble it can get into can seem pretty complicated and confusing at times. So I'm going to talk to you about the most common conditions I see in the clinic and trace them back to a common fundamental many people don't ever find out about. And these fundamentals save lives. I don't just believe that. I've seen it with my own two eyes, and I've even experienced it too. I would never have played football or other sports as long as I did without knowing these basics. So I'm going to cover all of it and show you the ins and outs of using them to your advantage and how to start immediately, right here, right now. And I'm going to do that right after this short message.
Weight loss. It's challenging enough to lose inches and seems like so much work to get the body you want. But why does it have to take so long to see results? Well, now it doesn't have to. Introducing the Lipo Laser Instant Fat Loss System at Ideal Health and Wellness Center. Now you can work toward those long-term weight loss goals, lose weight, and keep it off with visible results from your very first session. The FDA-approved Lipo Laser Instant Fat Loss System uses high-powered LED light to literally melt away unwanted fat safely and effectively. In just a few sessions, you can really see and feel the difference in your waistline or many of those other trouble areas too. Lipo Laser Fat Loss from Ideal Health and Wellness is the way to get the visible results you deserve faster while pursuing your long-term permanent weight loss goals. And that means everything to getting the results you deserve. Call today for a free screening to see if you are a candidate for Lipo Laser and find out just how fast you can see the results you want. Call 615-567-6683 now.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's start with the complexities, since these are the things you're bombarded with. I think if I start there and then gradually scale it back, you'll better understand where the fundamentals come in and see how useful they are to know. I think you'll appreciate it because you'll be able to do some self-assessment and even some self-improvement. I mean, wouldn't it be cool if I gave you some things you can do on your own? First, the most common types of cases I see in my office are those with weight and fat loss issues, with pain or tension in the muscles, nerve or disc issues, foot problems. I see sports and related injuries every day. And more often than you think, I see a lot of posture problems. Yeah, that one is kind of a surprise. You wouldn't expect it to be that important or even noticeable but it's one of the most frequent complaints I get from patients when they come to get their assessments or screenings or evaluations. And that's actually important, but I'll get to that in just a minute here. What's complicated about this? Well, aside from these conditions seeming to be unrelated and having completely different sources, there is also the fact that an entire sequence of events happen in each person's life, along with a very specific timeline. And I'm not talking about just any timeline, or even the timeline that skewed when Biff took over Hill Valley in Back to the Future Part 2. I'm talking about the timeline of your life. This dates back to birth and before, and it is a track record of everything that happened physically and emotionally to you. And this is both internally and environmentally as well. So you can see the complexity stacking up already. Now add to that, each individual has a very unique timeline of their own experiences. You'll see that no two cases are the same. In fact, they're vastly different. Without a common denominator, these cases are random at best and nearly unsolvable. So let me ask you a question. Is any of this resonating with you so far? Does this sound familiar to you at all? I'll bet it does. But don't give up yet. Stay with me here because it's about to get good. So how about a little good news here? It turns out that there is a common denominator, something all cases have in common. It's basically the fact that, in their basic sense, all bodies operate off the same design. Were you aware that the human body has a design? Well, it does. There is a blueprint, and it is the same from person to person, fundamentally common to everyone. Everything from how body performs basic functions to how its systems and their functions work in harmony to allow you to do things with it, to how its structure is designed to keep it in an optimum position to hold its ground and keep those functions working. Nature made a blueprint for you, and the good news is you can know about it and you can understand it and you can work with it too. And by the way, you don't even have to be a doctor or go to school for 8 years to know that. Always remember the problems I described to you a few minutes ago are the most common conditions I see here in the clinic. They all unfold and fall into one category when you look at the most common fundamental overall body functions and the structure that keeps that function going. This revolutionized how I am able to treat my patients and what enables me to help someone free themselves from pain or injury in the same way I can free them from excess fat and weight. You see, these conditions I talked about, pain, stubborn weight, injury, all of them. These are all the symptoms in a breakdown of fundamentals in the body. And once you know these mechanics, you can really trace things farther. How does that help you? Well, how about this? What was the alternative? Let's say your doctor told you that for health reasons you needed to lose weight. What did he just do? He labeled you with a weight problem. The problem is weight problems are not fundamental to the body. They're not part of the design. So you've just been saddled with a problem you can't get rid of, maybe even for life. Sound familiar? Same thing with pain. Pain is actually a function of the body by design, but is not an optimum function. It is a warning sign. The bottom line is that if you want to up your game, you got to look at the fundamentals of structure, function, balance, and posture, and really see what the condition of these things say about the conditions you have or that you feel you have to live with. If you can take your own individual timeline of traumas, injuries, and illnesses, look at some of the abuses your body has endured environmentally, nutritionally, physically, etc., etc. And if you can assess its current condition, you might end up with a clear picture of what's going on. Then again, it may just give you a label and maybe depression too, because now you really see how messed up you are. But in all seriousness, if you knew the blueprint and how it's supposed to be structured, how it's supposed to function, you would see the imbalances almost immediately and pretty automatically. Now, it's a little more detailed than that. Well, sure it is. I mean, I didn't spend the better part of a decade in school learning useless information. But you, with just a little remembering and with a look in a full-length mirror, can yourself actually see some of the indicators. Just by looking at your overall posture in the mirror, you can tell if there are things to be looked at. Your memory and your mirror are your best personal trainers right now if you want to crush and make this the year you become a champion at whatever it is you do. I really mean that. This can be your best year just by starting with some basics of the fundamental design of your body. All I want you to do is look at your condition, look at where you've been over your life, and have a look for basic imbalances, things that are slightly off in the mirror. If anything seems like it could be better, you're actually in luck. That means there is some hope for you. And that's where I come in. Just so you know, whenever I need help, I always hire a trainer at the gym, or a coach for golf, whatever it is I'm trying to get better at. It's very difficult to do these things on your own because you don't know what you don't know. So always get the help of a professional. It's honestly worth your time and money because you actually will see the results that you're looking for in a short amount of time, usually much quicker than if you tried to do it on your own. So what did we learn here today? We learned that pain, weight gain, tension, injury, whatever it is, all of them may be different, but they all relate back to a common fundamental. That is the basic blueprint of the body as to its structure, its function, its purpose, and how it's supposed to operate in its optimum condition. Then we learned that knowing this, we can compare what we observe about our condition to how it's supposed to be per the blueprint and find out how far we are from it. Think about it. If you don't know the optimum, you never know how far you are from it and may just think that what you have is what you have and that's all there is. But you know what? I think that's terrible because it gives you no hope and it certainly makes any offers of help not only valueless, but just plain lies, really. If you think about it, if you think you're at the most optimum performance level possible and someone offers to help you improve, what does that make them? Certainly not honest. So this fundamental of knowing the blueprint is so important because it comprises a full 90% of what I do as a doctor of chiropractic. It is what my specialty is all about and what makes the treatments I am able to deliver so effective. It is what makes my Chirothin program work where other weight loss programs have failed. It's why my LED light therapies are reducing fat and even pain for people in days instead of months or years. It's why the chiropractic treatments I deliver seem so miraculous. Here's the kicker though. They're not miracles. The miracle is the design of the human body. Its designed intelligence and its ability to survive and endure this environment we live in, and even to heal when it gets hurt or sick. If it's not doing these things, there is some physical interference going on. So, do it. Check yourself out in the mirror. Have a good look at your posture and formulate an assessment of your overall balance. Look at your current symptomology, even the minor ones. In fact, especially the minor, non-chronic ones. These are the worst offenders of all because they come and go and that means something deeper is causing them. Then look over your entire timeline. You'll be surprised what you find. Now, I promise to help you crush your game this year, so here's what we're going to do. I don't care what the problem is. If it's a weight problem, pain or injury, foot problem, disc, nerve, whatever it is, if you do an assessment that shows a few minor indicators, I want you to do one thing. Drop everything and call me right away. You can reach me at 615-567-6683 at the office. And what I'm going to do for you is investigate what's happening. Look, it won't cost you anything to look in the mirror, to check over your symptoms, and to examine the broad strokes of your timeline. And guess what else? It won't cost you anything to get assessed by me either, because the 20 minutes to a half hour or so that I can spend time with you, I'm going to comp you that time. You heard me right. I'm gifting you my time and the results of my assessment. And if you're wondering, that means I'll give you a full report of what I find, as well as a bunch of recommendations on what you yourself can do about changing your personal game. How's that for the first gift you received all year? Pretty good, right? Meanwhile, make sure you keep tuning in. Call the office now to schedule with me at 615-567-6683. Leave a message if it's after hours, and we'll get back to you as soon as we hear the message. If you want to ask me some questions directly, follow me on Instagram at SportingGoodPosture and DM me there, or at Ideal Health and Wellness Center on Facebook and private message me there. Just tell me what's going on and I'll tell you what I think. I hope this episode has helped you. If it has, I will look forward to hearing from you, but I'd like to suggest you pass it along. Who do you know who absolutely needs to hear this? I think you probably know several people. Let's make their year too. What do you say? In the meantime, I'll see you right here for the next episode. Stay tuned. Remember, the coach's door is always open. This is Coach Frank. I'm Sporting Good Posture. How about you?
The Sporting Good Posture Podcast is a broadcast wellness production powered by Ideal Health Wellness Center. All content copyright 2021. All rights reserved. Executive producer Frank Sardella. Coach Frank appears courtesy of Ideal Health Wellness Center in Franklin. For more information, visit sportinggoodposture.com and follow Coach on Instagram at sportinggoodposture.
Prior to this point in time, somewhere in the past, the timeline skewed into this tangent, creating an alternate 1985. Alternate to you, me, and Einstein, but reality for everyone else.